to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. I hope you're all well. So today's video I'm so excited for because I'm doing my autumn TBR and book recommendations for all of you who are looking for books to read over the autumn/winter period. I talk autumn like up until November, and then mid-November is like winter. I have got quite a few books to get through today. Most of these are my TBR, but then I do have a few books that I would definitely recommend for you guys to read if you are looking for new book recs over the autumn period. So we're just going to go straight into this video because I feel like it's going to be a long one. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you do, don't forget to leave the video a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and don't forget to turn on the little post notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. And with that said, let's just jump straight into the video. So we're going to start off with my massive autumn TBR, which is just behind me here. I've got some pretty decent books and I'm very excited to read them, so I'm going to start off with the ones that are just here. So the first one that I feel like I want to read are definitely sort of the dark academia. I think a lot of people associate autumn with dark academia and mystery, although I don't actually have a lot of mystery books on my pile other than my book recs. As for my TBR, most of them are fantasy. However, we're going to start off with Babel or Babel, however you like to say it, by R.F. Kuang. I have had this on my TBR for a very long time. I've literally had this since last year, but the only thing that is severely intimidating me through it is the thickness of this book. However, I've heard such incredible things about this book that I really want to read it. It's set in Oxford. Oxford just seems like a really fitting place for this book. So I also set in the 1800s, which is really cool. As I said, I'm just so intimidated by the thickness of this book. I think this is almost like a 500-page book, so to get through it, I feel like this is probably going to take me half of autumn to get through. But I love the cover of it as well. The majority of reviews that I have heard about this are very positive, so I feel like I will definitely give it a go. I really want to challenge myself with reading different books, and I don't typically pick up dark academia, although it's a genre that seems right up my street, so we will see where this takes me. But Babel is very high up on my TBR, so hopefully I will get around to this one. Another dark academia book, I think this is dark academia, I could be wrong, or this is more of a, oh okay, so this is more of a literary thriller, If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I think people have said if you like The Secret History by Donna Tartt, then you'll like this. I've heard very good reviews about this as well, and I think it's about an actor and there's a tragedy that strikes. One of the 7 friends is found dead, so this actually sounds right up my street, to be honest with you. As you guys know, I love a good mystery. Actually, if it involves kind of actors, I don't know why, I used to do drama at school and I just really like that sort of stuff. I feel like this could be quite a good one to read, although I don't particularly like the cover. It's of a dead bird. Not too sure about that. But yeah, so I'm super excited to read this. I think this is definitely quite high up on my TBR as well, so hopefully I will get around to this one too. Next up, I feel like it wouldn't be a autumn TBR if I did not mention The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I have not read this. This has been sitting on my bookshelf for a very long time. However, everybody's book recs for autumn is The Secret History. I just feel like it's about time that I read it and see what the hype is about, because people say that it is a modern classic and that it is a both compelling and elegant, dramatic and playful novel. So I feel like this could be quite good. This is definitely considered dark academia. Once again, it's quite up my street. I think most of these books are, but yeah, I'm really excited to see this one, purely because of how much it has been recommended to me. If it's a modern classic, I feel like I will really enjoy it. It's definitely a must read, and once again, very high up on my TBR. Most of these books that I talk about will probably be featured in my October and November reading vlogs. If you guys didn't know, I do monthly reading vlogs of all the books that I've read, and then at the end of the month I do a wrap up, so hopefully I will get around to most of these books. I'm very much a mood reader, so for me to kind of go, yes, this is my dead set TBR, I'm gonna stick to it, is probably quite a big lie, because it's not, and I couldn't do that. As I said, I'm a very big mood reader, so when I'm in the mood for something, I will probably want to read it. Like, I just read 2 hefty romance books and I'm now on a thriller mystery, and I'm very happy about that because it's kind of a break. And fantasy is still quite a new genre to me, so for me I need something that's going to kind of break the in-between, but I feel like I've got quite a good balance between the two, so we could be all right. Next up, I think this is probably my most anticipated read of the year, and I don't even know if I'm going to get round to it this year, but that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, which this has been on my BookTok For You page and my Bookstagram forever, like for ages, and everybody's like, this is a 5-star, 6-star read, it's great, it's amazing. Purely picked it up because of the cover, not gonna lie. Though people have said that if you are new to fantasy, this is an incredible world to get into, and I think this is actually going to become a series, so you know, and I couldn't find a copy anywhere apart from the works. People have said that readers of Sarah J Maas and Leigh Bardugo will flock to this one. I feel like I could quite enjoy this one. Lynette Noni also said fiercely romantic and unforgivably addictive, so why not? It's also been sitting on my shelf this way around because I, as I said, really like the cover. This is all about kind of dragons, and that's about it. All I know, to be honest, but we will see. It's also another quite chunky book. I'm not quite sure how well that's going to go. Still, equally, very excited for this one. Next up is a series. I do have a few series that I want to read within autumn, one of them being the Dance of Thieves duology. So we have Dance of Thieves and then Vow of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. That's a mouthful to say. I love the covers. I also wanted to buy these and I could not find them for the life of me, and I found them in a book newspaper which is called Bibliophile. They sold them for super cheap on there. I also picked up these books purely off of Hayley Pham's recommendations. She's another one of my favourite booktubers. Basically anything that she reads I will probably read or pick up at some point in my life. She read these. She said that I think she said she preferred Dance of Thieves to Vow of Thieves. Could be wrong on that one. I think a lot of people did say they preferred the first one to the second one. However, they're equally great, like 5-star series. Very excited to read this and see what the world's about. I actually have no idea what this is about, to be honest with you, but we will see, because I feel like I will like these. A lot of kind of hyped up fantasy books I am quite enjoying. As I said, I read ACOTAR last month and I really enjoyed that, so I feel like I might like these and Fourth Wing. So another series that has been super high on my TBR, and I think this is probably going to be my next read, is the Prison Healer series by Lynette Noni. I'm so excited to read these. Everybody has said this is an incredible series, you want to read it, it's amazing. I also love the covers. So you start off with the Prison Healer, then the Gilded Cage, and then the Blood Traitor, which I have tried to find for ages, and I finally found it in my local Waterstones, which I'm very excited about. Once again, don't actually know what any of these are about. Like, these can be quite the good books to read and sort of curl up in, and they're not too long, which I quite like. I don't like a sort of hefty fantasy read, so I feel like these could be quite a good read to sort of pick up. Next up, we have got These Violent Delights and Our Violet Ends, which I mentioned in my book haul video that I picked up Foul Lady Fortune way before I picked up these, and that I wanted to read these first because they're kind of intertwined with each other. So I'm picking up these before I read Foul Lady Fortune, and because also Foul Lady Fortune is a chunky book, whereas these two aren't too bad. I think these are set in Shanghai in the 20s. They are like a Romeo and Juliet retelling, fantasy style, which I think is incredible. I'm gonna really enjoy these, and I also love the covers of them. Very excited for these ones. So the next two are just standalone books. We've got Belladonna by Adeline Grace, which I also mentioned in my book haul. You would have seen probably most of these in my book haul. I love the cover of this book, and the sales assistant at Waterstones, when I bought it, said to me that she thought that it was super autumnal and that Tim Burton should direct it. I'm very excited to read this, and as I said, I don't actually know what this is. Basically, put it this way, most of the books I have on my bookshelf, I don't really know what they're about. I just look at them and kind of go, yeah, sounds interesting, and then hope for the best. I feel like I will really like this one. I also love the cover of this. I think it's so pretty with the birds and the flowers and stuff. This is also, I feel like this is gonna be quite an easy read too, so excited for this one. So the last one on my TBR is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I was super excited to read this one. I think it's like a mystery mixed with fantasy because about like the vampires and stuff. So I'm super excited to read this. I feel like, especially sort of in between all of those fantasy books, I'm definitely gonna want to read like a mystery to sort of pick me up a bit. Basically, if I'm ever in a book slump, a mystery will always get me out of a book slump. So I'm definitely picking this up, probably in between one of a hefty fantasy read. Okay, so we're now on to the second part of the video, which is all of my book recs for autumn. If you are looking for book recommendations, you don't really know what to read, this is my pile. And most of these, literally 2 of them are fantasy, the rest are mystery, because I just love them so much. I'm gonna start off with The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I read this earlier on in the year and I loved it. I can't remember what I actually rated it, but it's sort of like a paranormal thriller and it's incredible. It's so well written and so many people have said that Riley Sager is an incredible writer. This was my first Riley Sager book. I wasn't disappointed. This is super psychological as well. Like, it's just incredible, and it has that kind of now and then POV, which I love in a thriller. So this was definitely one of my, this is one of my go-to autumn books, but it's so cleverly written that I feel like it's a great autumn read to just sort of curl up with. Definitely recommend this. Next we've got Five Survive by Holly Jackson. I have taken the dust jacket off of this one and I'm also currently reading it. However, I'm loving it. This is the perfect autumnal read. This is super spooky. This is definitely more spooky than A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's basically set in an RV. 6 of them take a road trip down to South Carolina and 5 survive, guys. It's really good, and I also got the limited edition one when it first came out. I got a pre-order of it and it's signed as well from Holly Jackson, so it makes it all better, and I've literally read this within 24 hours. It's so freaking good. Next up, I couldn't get the whole series down from my shelf, but I recommend the whole Truly Devious series. So Truly Devious is a trilogy, and then there's a standalone called The Box in the Woods, and then there's another one that follows on from those stories called 9 Liars, which was released I think last year or early this year. It's so good. This is once again kind of like a thriller, dark academia. This is basically set in an academy in Vermont, and you follow Stevie Bell, who basically uncovers cases from the past, and there's kind of like a romance subplot in this, which is really great. This is YA, so nothing kind of, you know, too sort of gruesome and stuff, but I love this. This is one of my hand on heart favorite series that I've ever read. It's super easy and it's so gripping that honestly you'll read the whole series straight away like I did. I didn't have a break in between. I loved it, and I feel like I'm actually gonna probably want to read one of these again, like in between my kind of new reads over the autumn winter period. So yeah, 100% recommend this. This was a 5-star series for me. All of the books were, so definitely recommend. We've next got my absolute cult classic, which is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This is definitely more of kind of like your winter read, but I still just love it. It's one of those books that I feel I return to anytime I'm in a slump, and it's just a super fast-paced book, and I love it with my whole heart, and you guys will always hear me talk about this as one of my absolute favourite books. So 100% recommend. Even if it's not like the most autumnal, it's still got that kind of vibe where you definitely want to sort of curl up in a blanket and a cup of tea and just read this, and it's such an easy, quick, fast-paced read that 100% recommend this. Okay, we're going through these quickly because my camera's just not happy right now. Next up, we have got The Sanatorium and The Retreat by Sarah Pearse. This was my favourite book of 2022 and I just love it so much. Next up, now this is definitely this is a fantasy series, so I recommend the Caraval trilogy. I haven't actually read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series after this yet because I haven't actually read Finale. There's kind of a character that follows on into those books from these 3 books, which I already know who the character is, but I wanted to finish this series before. I read Caraval and Legendary at the beginning of the year and I loved them so much. I thought they were brilliant, so I am probably actually going to be adding this to my Autumn TBR as well. But yeah, I really recommend this. This is such an incredible trilogy, and you probably would have heard a lot of people talk about it because it is quite a popular series, but it's Stephanie Garber who writes them, and the magic that just happens in this book, especially, I loved the first book. Like, this was a 5-star read for me and I loved it, and I think about it all the time. It's so incredible. So yeah, I really recommend you guys pick these up. They're super fast paced, super fun, and if you are new to fantasy, then these are probably the books that you want to pick up as well, because there's a lot of magic involved and there's like a romance subplot as well, which is quite fun. So definitely recommend these. Next up, we've got The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This is a super like spooky kind of eerie story. This happens on a remote island in the Irish coast, and it's basically about wedding, and there's old friends, there's like past grudges, old stories that come up to surface. I just think it's a really good read. Any kind of Lucy Foley books I think are quite atmospheric as well. Like The Paris Apartment's really good, and I have got The Hunting Party, but I haven't read that one yet, but I know a lot of her books are really good, so recommend this one too. We've got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, the whole trilogy. Any Holly Jackson, as I said, I recommended 5 Survive as well. This is incredible, 5-star read, and I just feel like you can't go wrong with these books. They are also super atmospheric, and there's 3 books to get you through the kind of autumn time, so I feel like this is a series that you can definitely get on board. It's a YA mystery. Follow Pip, who is in 6th form, and she follows a case that happened 5 years ago, so it's kind of like one of those like past present kind of storylines as well, which is really cool. Just absolutely love this book. It's super good. There's some like funny passages in it as well, which I quite like. And last but not least, I feel like it would not be autumn if we did not have Harry Potter. I always do like a reread of my favourite Harry Potters over the sort of autumn winter time. I just feel like they are the perfect books to read if you don't know what to read. I always kind of like pick them up here and there when I'm like really in the mood for them. I'm definitely going to pick, I think I'm actually going to start from the beginning again and pick up Philosopher's Stone, and I'm also going to do my whole rewatch of all the Harry Potter films, because it's just that time of year, guys, where everything is like crisp, and it's just, you just need that Harry Potter vibe, because it screams autumn. It's like the beginning of autumn once you put on a Harry Potter film, even though it's currently 26 degrees because the English weather decided to have a heat wave, which is not great, but here we are. So guys, that is my autumn TBR and book recommendations. I hope you guys enjoyed and you guys got some inspiration for your own TBRs. I know that I've got quite the pile to get through this season, but I'm very excited because I just love this time of year. Like, as much as I love summer, I do love autumn. I love like autumn fashion, and just, you know, there's nothing wrong with curling up with a good book and a blanket and a nice cup of tea, and I just love it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. Don't forget to follow me on all of my social media channels. They are in the description box down below as per. And with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye guys.